Hey, what's going on guys, Pixel here, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how you can create these cool lower third animations in Adobe After Effects. So without wasting more time, let's go straight to my laptop and show you how you can do this. Okay, inside After Effects, the first thing I'm gonna do is to create a new composition by clicking with the right button of the mouse and go to new composition. From here I'm gonna use this custom preset, which is 2000 pixels width and 2000 pixels high, and also I'm gonna change the name to Pop Effect. And then I'm going to use the black color as a background and click on OK. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. The next thing I'll do is go to the assets folder, open it and drag this YouTube logo onto the timeline. Also, I'm going to press S for scale so I can make it smaller. Something like this. It's fine. I'm going to press S again and close this scale option. Then I'll go up to the rectangle 2 and use the rounded rectangle 2. And before we create a similar shape to the YouTube logo, make sure that you disable the fill option by clicking onto the fill and press on this icon. This means that it's disabled, and then make sure that the stroke is enabled, and you can click onto the solid color and then click on OK. Then I'm going to try to create a similar like shape to the YouTube logo rectangle, something like that. Let me just zoom in a little bit so I can see better. And then the next thing I'll do is go down to the shape layer, open the rectangle 1, open the rectangle part 1 and increase the roundness to something like that. I think it's fine. Okay, and then I'm gonna close the rectangle part 1 and open the stroke 1, and then I'm gonna increase the stroke width to something like that. 66 looks fine. And then I'm gonna create straight away a keyframe here, and then I'm gonna move the cursor to 1 second and create a second keyframe, but this time it's gonna be 0. So we've got that kind of animation so far. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close everything. I'm gonna select the shape layer again, press S, and then I'm gonna hold Shift and press R. So S is for scale and R is for rotation. Then I'm going to create a keyframes here, and then I'm going to move to the beginning of the composition and create another keyframe. So I'm going to change the rotation to 90 degrees, and I'm going to change the scale down to 0. And when I play it now, we've got this. Then I'm going to hit U, and this is going to open all the keyframes. I'm going to just select the scale and rotation keyframes and level them up with the stroke width keyframes like that. And then I'm going to select the last 3 keyframes, then the right button of the mouse, keyframe assistant and easy ease. And then I'm going to open the graph editor, but first I need to select the last 3 keyframes. Open the graph editor, and if you don't see the same graph editor like me, you can go down to the graph editor settings, click on it and make sure that you select the edit speed so you'll be able to see that. Then I'm gonna select this 0 handle and drag it all the way to the left and close it. So we're gonna have this kind of building up speed into the beginning and exploding at the end. Then after I've done with this animation, I'm gonna close this rectangle, select it again and press Ctrl and D. So we're gonna duplicate this layer and move it a few frames forward. Then when I go at the beginning, let me just hide this YouTube logo. And so yeah, when I go to the beginning, you can see that now we've got 2 rectangles, but I'll make the second rectangle a little bit different. So I'm gonna open the settings, go to content rectangle 1, go to stroke, go to the first keyframe and increase the stroke width to, let's say, 88. And also I would like to change the color. I'm gonna use the YouTube logo as a reference and make it red. Then I'm gonna close everything again. Oh, I forgot to add some few dashes. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the shape layer number 2, go to the stroke 1, open the settings from there, go down to dashes, click on this plus, and this is gonna open this option. We're gonna have dashes and offset, and as you can see, this changed the appearance straight away. And I'm gonna increase the dashes to something like that. Okay, I'm happy with this. I'm gonna close everything, select the first shape layer, hit the U button, gonna copy the scale and rotation keyframes by pressing Ctrl and C. Then I'm gonna select the YouTube logo and press Ctrl and V. And I paste all these rotation and scale keyframes to the YouTube logo. And let me just bring it back. And when I play it now, we've got something like that. But the YouTube logo is far too big. So I'm gonna decrease the scale a little bit. So I'm gonna go to the last keyframe and go down to 64. I think it's fine. So when I play it again, we've got this. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. And the next thing I'm gonna do is to create another composition. Now when we've done with those 3 animations, again I'm gonna click with the right button of the mouse, new composition. This time I'm gonna use a different preset. I'm gonna use a full HD preset, which is that one. That's 1920 by 1080 resolution. And also I'm gonna change the name of it. I'm gonna name it lower third. And then I'm gonna press on OK. Now I'm gonna grab the pop effects composition and drag it onto the timeline. And then straight away, I'm gonna press on S and P. Okay. So when I drag it to 1 second or over 1 second, I'm gonna make the size of this composition a bit smaller. I think 74, it's fine. And also I'm gonna create a keyframe here of the position. Then I'm gonna move a few frames forward and drag it to the left. And then again, I'm gonna select the second keyframe, the right button of the mouse, keyframe assistant, easy ease, graph editor, drag it all the way to the left. Okay, and now we've got that. And now when we've done this animation as well, the next thing I would do is go, let's just deselect everything and close this. I'm gonna go up to the text, click on the text and create a text opposite the YouTube logo. So I'm gonna type down YouTube. Then I'm gonna click somewhere and then press the V so I can drag it and try to make it even with the YouTube logo like that. I think it looks perfect. And what I want to do now is a review animation, and I'm gonna select the YouTube text, hit P for position, create keyframe here, and I'm gonna open the other keyframe so I can see what's going on. The pop keyframes as well. Then I'm gonna drag the cursor to the first keyframe, and then I'm gonna drag the text to the left somewhere over here. And what we've got now is that, but we don't want the text to be visible. Also, I'm going to select again the second keyframe of the text, keyframe assistant, is graph editor, and by now probably you know what to do with the graph editor. I showed that so many times. And to hide this text, I'm going to go to the first keyframe, deselect everything, and go up to the rectangle 2 again, select the rounded rectangle 2, and let's drag a rectangle that it's gonna hide the text and the YouTube logo, something like that. Gonna press V, gonna make it bigger, a little bit bigger. And this time we would like to have a fill, so I'm gonna go to fill and enable the fill effect option. Then I'm gonna disable the stroke option like that. And then I'm gonna link up the shape layer with the pop effect. So to link up those 2 layers, I'm gonna use the whip tool. So I'm gonna just drag this to the pop effect, and now this rectangle has the pop effect animation. And also I'm gonna close all of this. I'm gonna select the text again and go to the middle column, and if you don't see it, you can click on toggle switches or modes, and you're gonna be able to see this column at the middle. Then I'm gonna click on it and gonna select alpha inverted made shape, and this is gonna hide the text straight away. And when I play it now, we've got something like this. So now with this animation is done, the next thing I'm gonna do is to create a strokes that flies around this YouTube logo. And to do this, I'm gonna click with the right button on the mouse, go to new, and select a solid layer. I will leave the settings like that, and I'm gonna press OK. And then make sure that you select the solid layer and go and click onto the pen tool. Then go to the program monitor and create a dot over here, drag it, hold and drag it, and also hold shift at the same time so you can create a straight line. Then again, somewhere over here, hold it, shift, and then here, like that. Then I'm gonna press V, go to the effects and type down stroke, and grab the stroke effect and apply it to the solid layer. From there, I'm gonna go straight to the paint style, which is original image, and I'm gonna change it to transparent so we can see what's going on onto the program monitor. And also I'm gonna increase the brush size to, let's say, 7.3, and then straight away I'm gonna create a keyframes on the start and end option like that. I'm just gonna open the keyframes by pressing U onto the timeline, and then I'm gonna drag this. Now I'm gonna make it 0 here. Okay, and I'm gonna drag this to somewhere over here and create another 2 keyframes, but this time it's gonna be up to 100. And what I'm gonna do next is select the last 2 keyframes of the end and move them a few frames forward. And when I play it now, we've got something like this, but it should be the other way around. So here we're gonna, on the second keyframes, I'm gonna go up to 100, and onto the first keyframes, I'm gonna go down to 0. And then I'm gonna select the last 2 keyframes, the bottom keyframes of the end. I'm gonna drag them a few frames forward, and let's see what we've got now. Okay, and that's the right animation. And also, if you want to make this stroke a little bit shorter, we can move these keyframes a bit closer, and then we've got this. And again, I'm going to select the last 2 keyframes of start and the end. Right button of the mouse, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. Graph editor. Drag these yellow handles all the way to the left, and tada, we've got this nice animation. And now we're going to close this solid layer, select it again, press Ctrl and D so I can make another duplicate. And this time you can make the stroke a little bit different. It's going to change the direction, and also I'm going to change the color. I'm going to select red, and also I'm going to move a few frames forward. And when I play it now, we've got something like that. Again, I'm going to create another stroke, and I'm going to move it again a few frames forward. And I'm going to leave it white, but this time again, I'm going to change the direction of the stroke. Something like that. And when I play it, we've got these nice strokes flying around the logo. And lastly, I'm gonna create a animated text popping out below this YouTube logo animation. And to do this, first of all, deselect everything, go up to the rectangle tool, select the rounded rectangle tool, hold shift and create a perfect rounded rectangle. Then I'm gonna go down to the rectangle 1, open the rectangle part 1 and increase the roundness to maximum. So we're gonna have a perfect circle. Then I'm gonna create a keyframe here, move a few frames forward like that, and create another keyframe, but this time we're gonna bring it back to the rounded rectangle. And I forgot to mention, make sure that the fill is disabled and the stroke is enabled for this animation. Then after we've done this animation, what I'm gonna do is click on this add button and add a trim paths. I'm gonna go to the first keyframe, then go down to the trim paths, open it, drag the end to the 0 and create a keyframe. Then I'm gonna move to the second keyframe over here and bring it back to 100. And then I'm gonna go up to size, move to the first keyframe, deselect the link option, and then create keyframe here. Then move to the second keyframe, make it longer like that, and even a little bit thinner. think it's perfect like that. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the last 3 keyframes, right button of the mouse, keyframe assistant and easy ease, graph editor, select those yellow handle and drag it all the way to the left. And what we've got so far, it's that. So the next thing I'm gonna do is close everything, select the shape layer, press Ctrl and D, duplicate this layer, go back to fill, and this time enable the fill option and disable the stroke option. So what we've got is that. And the last thing I have to do is go to text, click onto the text and create a text somewhere over here. I'm gonna type down youtube.com/c/my name. Okay. By the way, it's really cool channel, so make sure you subscribe to it. And then I'm gonna I'm gonna click somewhere onto the timeline, press V and drag this text somewhere over here. Yeah, it's not visible, but it will be in a second. So then I'm gonna get the text into the timeline and place it between the 2 rectangle shapes. And I'm gonna open this column and go down to alpha inverted mate. No, it's not alpha inverted mate. I lied to you. I'm gonna use this time alpha mate like that. So we've got something like this. But I want to put a bit more animation to the text. So somewhere over here, text will be out of this animation. Let me just select the text and press P for position. Then I'm gonna create a keyframe and drag the text out of this rectangle somewhere over here. I'm gonna move a few frames forward. Okay, it's not enough. Okay, over here, I think it's fine. Then a few frames forward and somewhere over here, the text is gonna go back into this rectangle at the middle. Brilliant. Then again, right button of the mouse, keyframe assistant, easy ease, graph editor, drag it all the way to the left, and let's play it and see what we've got. Bam. There is one more thing that I want to show you. First of all, I'm gonna select all of these layers, right button of the mouse and pre-compose it. I'm gonna name this lower third animation. And then I'm gonna press OK. And now we've got this composition. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press P, then create a keyframe over here. And then I'm gonna move a few frames forward and take it all the way to the left. So this is gonna disappear like that. And also I'm gonna open the toggle switch and I'm gonna go up to the motion blur and I'm gonna tick the box. So also I'm gonna go again, keyframe assistant to the second keyframe, easy ease, and drag this all the way to the left again. And when I play it now, we've got this kind of animation. It disappears from the screen. So if you want this to stay a bit longer on your screen, we can move those keyframes somewhere over here. And again, bam. Nice. And that's it, guys. That's how you can create those lower thirds in Adobe After Effects. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did so, please hit that like button and subscribe my channel for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.